In this video, we are going to discuss 15th chapter, Introduction to Graphs. There are some graphs we are already familiar with. Bar graph. Here in the bar graph, we know bars are used with equal width, and there is equal gaps, identical gaps between the bars also maintained, and the numbers are marked on y-axis. This is y-axis, vertical line is y-axis, and this is x-axis. The categories are represented on y-axis, x-axis. Categories represented on x-axis. Next graph we already know, that is a pie graph or pie chart, circle graph. Here categories are represented as sectors of circle. Okay, so we can compare each sector, which category holds more. We can compare each part to the whole. Next graph we studied, that is a histogram. Histogram also a bar graph, but here there is no gaps are maintained between bars. Here histogram we usually draw for grouped data. For example, look at this x-axis, that horizontal line. Here weights in kilometer are marked, but that data is given as grouped data, 40 to 45, 45 to 50. This type of data has given. Okay, so a histogram is a representation of grouped data. Now in altogether, a bar graph is used to show comparison among categories. A pie graph is used to compare parts of a whole. A histogram is a bar graph that shows data in intervals. Now a new graph we are going to discuss this year. A line graph. What is a line graph? A line graph displays data that changes continuously over periods of time. Look at the examples. Here the data as represented by bits of line segments joined continuously. Look at this. How do we draw a line graph? That we are going to discuss next. Look at this. A data has given here. This is the data of temperature of a patient, checked and marked at starting from 6 a.m. and every 4 hours. After every 4 hours, the temperature checked and marked here. At 6 a.m. the temperature was 37 degrees Celsius. After 4 hours, at 10 a.m. it was 40 degrees Celsius. Then 2 p.m. 38 degrees Celsius, and 6 p.m. it was 35 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then there is a variation in the temperature at every 4 hours. How do we draw this in a line graph? Look at the data. First of all, we have to take a graph sheet. Then in the horizontal line, that is on x-axis, we will mark the time: 6 am, 10 am, 2 pm and 6 pm. All are 4 hours gap, right? So this joining point is 0. Then each unit we consider as 2 hours, right? So 2 hours, 4 hours and 6 am here, right? Then 8 pm, 8 am, 10 am. Then each equal gap, 4 hours of gap given. And on y-axis or this vertical line, we mark the temperature. But each unit we have taken 1 degree Celsius, right? So look at this: 30 to 32 degrees Celsius, 32 to 40, 32 to 34 degrees Celsius. There is 2 degrees Celsius difference, right? But here the first unit, 0 to 30 degrees Celsius, there is a 30 degrees Celsius difference. So we marked a jagged line here. Okay. Then what to do? How do we mark this data? So first we take 6 am. 6 am on this horizontal line. This is 6 am. Then 37 degrees Celsius on vertical line. And you draw that two lines that will join here. Then next data 10 to 40. 10 am 40 degrees Celsius. 10 am on the horizontal line and 40 degrees Celsius from vertical line. They meet here. That each points we will mark here. Then want to join that points. Look at this. That points are joined by using bits of line segments. So this is our line graph for the given data. Okay. Now we discuss what is a linear graph. We studied in line graph. It consists of bits of line segments joined continuously or consecutively. But sometimes the graph may be a whole unbroken line. Look at the given example, a graph of temperature and time. Sometimes the graph, the points we got that joined to get a straight line. This type of line graphs are called linear graphs. Okay. Now next we are going to discuss how to locate a point on a plane. So the locating a point on a plane surface, it was first examined or worked on that the mathematician René Descartes. He is also the father of modern mathematics. Then how he located a point on plane? First we take a plane surface and divided that into square grids like this. This plane surface is called a Cartesian plane. That plane surface is named after René Descartes. So that plane is called a Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane. So if the graph sheet, that graph area is called Cartesian plane. Okay, now we want two line segments. Okay, this horizontal line segment is called x-axis and The vertical is called y-axis. They joined perpendicular at the point. These lines, these axes are number lines actually. Look at this x-axis. 0 at the middle and positive numbers to right side, negative numbers to left side. And here on the y-axis or on the vertical line, positive numbers to upward, negative numbers to downward. Okay, and both joined at 0. Here, while drawing these two lines, 4 parts are here. This plane divided into 4 parts. These 4 parts are called 4 quadrants. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. And the meeting point of these two line segments is called origin. Okay. Now, if we consider any joining point on this Cartesian plane, for example, you take the point A. Okay. Here this point A is 5 units away from this x-axis, right? That 5 we can see on this y-axis. That 5 is marked in this bracket here. Then this point A is 3 units away from y-axis. That 3 we can see here in the bracket first. Then that 3 we can see here on the x-axis. The numbers on the x-axis all are called x-coordinates. 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 And the numbers on the y-axis are called y-coordinates. Y-coordinates. Okay. So, how do we mark x-coordinate and y-coordinate? Look at here. If we consider a point here, this point, this green color point is, its coordinates are 2, 3. Look at this, 2. That if we draw a vertical line from the point, it will meet at 2 on x-axis. So x coordinate is 2, and if we draw horizontal line to y-axis, it will meet at the point 3. So it is y coordinate is 3, that we will mark here. So this bracket is called ordered pair. We read this ordered pair 2, 3. The coordinates of this point is ordered pair 2, 3. In ordered pair, the first number represents x coordinate. Second number here 3 represents y coordinates. Okay. Now we will discuss how to plot points or locate points on Cartesian plane. How to locate given points. Look at this question. Plot the points A, -5, 3. The point A, its coordinates are -5 and 3. Then B, 6, 5, C, 4.5, -3.5, D, 0, 0, E, 0, 5. How do you mark it? Look at here. A, point A, 5 minus 3. Sorry, -5, 3. -5 is the first one in the bracket. It is x coordinate. So x coordinate means -5 on x-axis. So here is -5. Then 3, positive 3 on y-axis. 3 is x coordinate. So 3 on y-axis. Now we draw a line from -5 and from y-axis from 3. They meet at this point. This point is our A. Okay. A is x coordinate -5, y coordinate 3. Then next point we consider B. B is 6 and 5. Both are positive. X coordinate 6, y coordinate 5. So x coordinate 6 means we take 6 on x axis and 5 on y axis here. Draw lines from 5, 6 x axis from. So this is our meeting point, that is our B. Okay, so its answers, look at here. This is our A, -5, 3. B, 6, 5. C, 4.5 on x-axis, but there is no 4.5 marked, but we know 4.5 is the half of the unit between 4 and 5, right? So that point we consider and draw the line. And we know -3.5 on y-axis, so it comes between -3 and -4, and draw line from there. The joining point is C. Then D is in the question D, the point given 0, 0. 0 on x-axis and 0 on y-axis. That actually is the origin. So what is the coordinates of origin? Ordered pair 0, 0. Okay. So there is one more question we have, that is E05. E05 means what? E05 means x coordinate is 0, y coordinate is 5. X coordinate 0 means 0 on x-axis, that is the origin here, and 5 on y-axis. So we draw from 0 on x-axis. So this is the point. So the 05.05 coordinate 05 comes on the y-axis itself. So this point is 05. So our E is a point on y-axis itself. Okay. This is the plotting points on a Cartesian plane. Okay, these are the important points of the chapter Introduction to Graphs.